everyone, and welcome. My name is Faith Maloney, and I'm one of the co-founders here at Best Friends. Thank you to all of you who are here with us today at Angel's Rest, and to all of you watching at home. Welcome. We started the blessing and having it here at Angel's Rest many, many years ago to honor the animals that passed at the sanctuary and to invite our members and supporters and visitors to share their memories of their beloved pets too. So again, welcome to our October blessing. Our call to gathering. Be the water. Ancient teachings tell us to be like the water. When problems appear in our path, we are to shift and flow around them. If we observe our companions, they adapt to their environment and new humans, new circumstances, and their new life. They become the water. They ask so little of us: shelter from the storm, enough food to sustain them, a pat or a stroke to show a return of the love and gifts they bring. We, humans, are all different, but they accept us with our differences, our rules, and soon they are part of our life and family. They bring unconditional love, acceptance, and devotion. They may not love us the rest of our lives, but they love us the rest of their lives. To you who opened your heart and home to this companion, to the great teacher of the wisdom of being the water, thank you. Go forward with your life with the knowledge that you made the world a better place. We say farewell for this moment, and until our spirits embrace beyond the veil, we say thank you. We whisper your name and pray that you found all that is good in your journey.
Hello everybody, my name is Josh. I'm one of the caretakers here at Angel's Rest. And at this point of the program, we go through some of the little guys we lost along the way for this month. In dogs, we lost Claire, Bones, Bandit, Brian Griffin, and in cats, we lost Blake, Bolin, Shaggy, Baby Gray, Rapunzel, Reese, Madison Rose, French Onion, Dex, Dory, Viddy, Laminite, Tom, Lemongrass, Legolas, Mercury, Erica, Mr. Handsome, Dala, and Keebler. And in Bunny House, we had lost Bun Bun. We received tributes for the following: Bonnie, Sierra, Frankie, Charlie, Bernie, Charlie Finnemore, Molly, Angel, Joe, Dolly, and Margaret Crisp, Buck, Cricket, Cosmo and KC, Dexter, Gibson, Harley, Turney, Juche and Juju, Bob, Lizzie, Forrest Chi, Lucy Bell, Pumpkin, Tigger 2, Ava, Oreo, Nugget, Jim, Dolce and Diesel, Mittens and Choots, Z and Max, Frodo and Pixie, Alora, Molly, Stuart, and Honey, the absolute best friend we've ever had and the closest to a soulmate. Now we do have a few stories that were sent in to us that I will also read. These came in from Best Friends members and caregivers. Sweet Princess Dharma, we were so lucky to have spent the last 20.5 years with you. The hole in our hearts and home is huge, as is our love for you that will never stop or die. Our heartbreak is profound, being present for your birth as well as your passing, knowing that you had a wonderful life and an easy, peaceful death is our comfort as we grieve the loss of your physical presence in our lives. We are forever blessed and changed by having spent these years with you. What a gift you have given us. Until we meet again, we will love and miss you deeply. We are so glad you chose us. From Dharma's humans, Kathy and Karen.
Hi, I'm Byron, one of the caretakers here at Angel's Rest, and I have a couple other stories I'd like to share with you. Our Jimmy passed away on Monday, October 11th, 2021, and is now in his celestial home where he will diligently watch over his mom and dad. Rest peacefully, sweet boy. You are no longer in pain, no longer have an unquenchable thirst. You've regained your appetite and the 10 pounds you had lost. Your hearing has been restored, your eyes are bright and lively, and you can walk again without wobbling. Thank you for all the love and kitty grace that your presence has provided. You will be sorely missed. Sweet kitty dreams, our little man. You were a good boy. And this is from Alyssa, and this is a sanctuary dog named Bones, and Alyssa is a caregiver for Bones. Bones was a really special dog. He arrived in 2012 through a network partner. He spent almost all of his life at the sanctuary at Jeffrey's in Dogtown. Because of Bones' past, he was uncomfortable with most physical handling. We always gave him the time and comfort he needed, and always on his terms. He had a group of people who he trusted, and while he was never fond of physical handling, he had an amazing life. He loved to go for golf cart rides with Tyson in his youth. He also loved to run at the dog park. Such a character and so playful with his people. He would even demand bark for treats when we would walk out of the kitchen building toward his run for feeding. He would try to run as best as he could in the last few months. Some days were better than others, but he almost always tried to run. He could keep us on our toes throughout his entire life with us, and looking back on those memories so fondly. He passed peacefully, almost 16 years old, surrounded by his people, and we will miss him dearly. And now we're going to open it up to let the audience and caregivers share stories if they'd like.
Hi, my name's Tom. I'm a caregiver in Dogtown. I've worked in Dogtown for 11 and a half years, met many hundreds of dogs. I want to talk about two special dogs tonight. One is named Claire, which you heard listed when Josh read the names, and the other one is named Jake, which is not on the list. Let me talk about Claire first. Claire came to us about 5.5 years ago from Page Animal Adoption Agency, Page, Arizona. We do a lot of co-work with Page, helping them take dogs in need when they are unable to provide medical attention for them or the proper care that they need. And so we consider Page one of our partners, and we do a lot of work with them. Claire arrived and she had a medical condition called brucellosis. Now, brucellosis is a disease which is contagious from dog to dog, and so she was unable to live with other dogs who did not have brucellosis. However, we did have 4 other dogs in Dogtown who did have this condition called brucellosis, and so there were 5 total. Claire was friends with 1 or 2 of them. Another 3 of them all lived together, and Claire lived a very happy life in Dogtown. She had many, many friends, caregivers, volunteers, visitors. She was able to meet visitors on our tours that came through Dogtown. This is pre-COVID days when our tours could get out and interact with dogs. Claire developed a severe case of DJD, which is an acronym for degenerative joint disease. It particularly affected both of her knees, but her right knee was affected more than the left knee at first. And so she was unable to bear weight on her right rear leg. She heavily favored her left rear leg, which put a lot of pressure on that joint as well. And she declined fairly quickly. As is often the case in these situations, we had her examined medically by one of our veterinarians, determined that there's really no cure for DJD. We tried to manage it with pain medications. Claire was not a candidate for amputation of that particular limb, and so we knew that her condition was not going to improve. We knew that her future activities would be limited, and so collectively, between the caregivers and the medical staff, we made a decision to humanely euthanize her, or let her cross the Rainbow Bridge. When she did, she was surrounded by about a dozen people who were former caregivers, friends, volunteers who knew her well, and she passed very peacefully in the loving arms of all of us in Dogtown who loved her. Claire was 7.5 when she crossed. I'd also like to talk about a dog named Jake. Jake was part of a group of 4 dogs that were owned by a couple named Jim and Mary Pierce. They are friends of the Best Friends community. Both of them are deceased at this point, and they left in their will, they left the care of their dogs to Best Friends Animal Society. One of my friends and co-Dogtown caregivers, named Pete, assumed the responsibility for the care of those 4 dogs. And Pete is a very kind and loving and generous man, and God bless him for taking on that responsibility. One of the dogs, Ginny, crossed approximately a year ago, and then just 4 days ago, Jake also crossed. Jake had a blockage inside of him that could not be treated, and Pete made the decision in conjunction with the medical staff in our clinic to humanely euthanize Jake. And I'd just like to read a tribute to Jake that was written by one of his pet sitters. So when Pete would leave town, his 4 dogs, or 3 dogs at this point in time, had a pet sitter that would come and take care of them, along with his cats and other various animals. So this is in a tribute to Jake. It's hard to sum up Jake Pierce in just a few words because he was such a special guy. Jake was friendly and sweet and loved to have his ears scratched and his belly rubbed. In fact, one of the last things he did before he crossed earlier this week was to roll over for some last loving belly rubs. Jake also loved to play fetch and loved his tennis balls. He would eagerly show you one of his tennis balls as soon as you arrived, and he'd proudly show it off and take it outside, all with the hopes of a good game of fetch. While Jake always loved people, he came a long way with his dog skills and was able to live full-time with a dog who became his BFF, his best friend forever. That was one of the other dogs in the home there. He was tolerant of her silly antics and enjoyed the canine company, something that all of us were thrilled to see. In his later years, Jake became hard of hearing, and his hind end gave him a little trouble. But it didn't slow him down. He lived life to the fullest, always had light and joy in his big brown eyes, always excited to find out what was next on the agenda, whether it was a meal, a stroll in the sun, a game of fetch, a car ride adventure, or just relaxing on the couch. We are all better people for knowing Jake and letting him into our hearts. He will be sorely missed and always loved. Jake was 14 when he crossed 4 days ago. I personally met Jake as well as the other 3 dogs in the home, and I can attest to Jake's loving nature. He's a 50-pound black retriever mix kind of dog. And you can just imagine a goofy expression on his face, a happy wagging tail when you would enter the home. Jake loved and he wanted to be loved. And I'd just like to say that it's obviously very sad for anybody who works in Dogtown to experience these crossings and when the dogs do leave us. But we choose to remember them with the love and the dignity and the respect that they deserve. And that's how I would like to remember Claire and Jake. Thank you.
Well, at this point in the program, we'll offer a moment of silence for all the little guys that passed this month.
Benediction. They are with us still. In the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what has gone before, drawn forward by compassion. Those who lived with and before us have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. They remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love strengthens our own will. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living.